remove, it's rebalance, renoculate, repair, and rebalance. So there's this particular process that we have to follow when it comes to optimizing your gut health. And maybe the remove might be just like, because it's different for everyone, right? So maybe it's for removing.
Today's guest is Ashley Shields, a functional health coach practitioner and the creator of the Total Body Vitality. After working through her own journey with gut issues, hormone imbalance, and burnout, she now helps women and men heal the right way, addressing stubborn digestive issues, hormonal imbalances, and chronic fatigue by addressing the root cause by understanding what their body is trying to tell them, using functional labs, personalized protocols, and real life support to help you feel like yourself again. Welcome, Ashley.
Thank you for having me today.
So, what is one of the most courageous things you have done after reading that out about your health? Wow.
Yeah, so one of the courageous things, I would probably say, taking the big step, quitting my original job to take the risk and start my own business, because I didn't know if it was going to be successful. I didn't know if I was going to fail. And I just remember messaging my husband and said, I don't think I can do this anymore. I think I need to try to see if I can go full time in my business, because I was getting like busy and overwhelmed from being a full-time EMT and have clients on the side. I was like, I need to see if this is actually going to work. And it's been history since then. I've been full-time for over 5 years now.
And that's absolutely fantastic and well done. It's a courageous step making any change, but a business change really is, because it's the uncertainty of will it work out or not, and what happens if it doesn't. So you took that step. So what took you on your journey of being a functional health practitioner? Was it your health?
Yes, it was my health that led me to this journey. I was already, like, when I was an EMT, I was already like a personal trainer. So I trained people, and I did like macro coaching, like just nutrition plans, nothing like fancy or anything. And I was dealing with some health issues myself, like no cycle for 2 years. I would look like I was pregnant by the end of the evening, wasn't going to the bathroom like I should be on a daily basis. I was fatigued, gaining weight out of nowhere, even though I worked out, ate clean. Just didn't make sense to me. Went doctor to doctor, and all they were suggesting is anxiety meds, birth control, Miralax. And I knew there was more to it. And so I found a functional health company, and that's where it was history for me. It opened up my eyes, like, okay, this is the connection. This is what's going on. It's not just about working out nutrition. It's about internal health, your gut health, your immune health, inflammation. And once I corrected all those things, like, I finally felt like myself again. And, and that's where I made the big shift of being more of a functional health versus a personal trainer.
Yes, I can understand that. And it does all stem from the complete body, and like it's not just the outside, what we physically personal trainer look like, but it's on the inside, and that's where it stems from. So absolutely. So you talk a lot about the gut hormone connection. Why do most women miss this piece when trying to balance their hormones? Because let's face it, we as women, we all want to know what's going on and why we feel the way we do and what's going on for us. So yeah, I really love to know more about that.
Yeah, so when your gut's inflamed or imbalanced, meaning back to overgrowth, everything else is going to be essentially, I want to say, like, out of whack, because there's a few things. 80% of our immune system is in our gut. 70% of our serotonin levels in our gut, which is like happy hormones. 20% of our thyroid conversion happens in the gut. We also process estrogen through our gut. So if we're not eliminating like we should, we will eliminate that estrogen out. What happens, your body like wraps it in a nice pretty package with a bow and resends it out throughout the body to recycle. And that's more toxic to us. It can cause the water retention, the mood disorders, feeling puffy, and when we have estrogen dominance too, it will also flare the immune system. And, and when our gut's imbalanced, obviously it causes cortisol imbalances, blood sugar imbalances. And therefore, one thing that happens, they call it the progesterone steal, meaning when our cortisol is imbalanced, we won't produce as much progesterone in the body. So a lot of us women can have that imbalance of estrogen progesterone, and more ladies are more estrogen dominant more than anything due to that. So you can see like the gut just throws everything off, and it can stress out the liver can stress out the gallbladder. It's like they're all the little best friends in there. So if the gut's off, it's going to affect everything. It can even affect your brain because there's a brain gut connection too. I notice a lot of people have like memory issues when their gut's off, and when it's inflamed, memory issues. It can worsen Alzheimer's disease as well. Yeah, a lot of connections.
Yeah, definitely. And I can understand. Yeah, they do say the gut is the second brain, if not the first brain. Absolutely. Yes. So why is it fat loss so hard for women, especially those dealing with stress, gut issues, or hormonal issues? Because here's the thing, when you're hormonal, you go through the menopause, whatever it is, the thing is, we're all trying to lose weight, looking fit, having, want to be healthy is what I mean by fit. And no matter what we've tried or we are trying, it's just not working. So, yeah, tell me more about that.
Yeah, so that was kind of like my story. I didn't realize my gut impacted my weight as much as it would, because, like I said, I know like a broken record, but if it's inflamed, you got overgrowth, it's going to affect your metabolism. You're not going to burn your calories like you should. Everything's going to be slowed down because your body doesn't feel safe. It's essentially everything's just a hot mess. Everybody's like, nope, we ain't doing this. And then there's another side of the spectrum, like for menopausal ladies, the biggest thing why everything starts to shift in that stage of life is because of the drop in hormones. And hormones are very vital to us females. And this is where we do need the balance of estrogen and progesterone, because believe it or not, that also impacts our gut bacteria. Estrogen does. It also can impact our insulin and our blood sugars. So, if that impacts insulin and blood sugars, that's going to cause us to be more sensitive to carbs, as people say, but more sensitive just the food in general, because we're not able to process it like it should. And it can cause blood sugar spikes. So therefore, we're in a sugar burning state versus a fat burning state. And a lot of people don't realize on the blood sugar range of things too, we need those numbers to be optimal. And from a functional perspective, fasted blood sugar should be anywhere from 70 to 85. And then 2 hours post meals should be anywhere from 80 to 95. That is optimal for fat burning. Not 100. You want 80 to 95, somewhere in there. So, a lot of people miss that link too, not checking their blood sugars, and they're only looking at the fasted. The fasted only shows us so much, So people are like, well, my blood sugar was great in the morning. I'm like, yeah, what are you doing throughout the day? And then I have them check it and they're like 100, 120. I'm like, yep, here's your problem. So we got to fix the dysfunction so the blood sugars can be corrected. So there's, as you see, there's multiple things: blood sugar, cortisol, hormones, all playing a role in your metabolism health.
Yes, absolutely. And then what is one of the causes that causes overgrowth?
So many things, from stress, believe it or not, medications, on a lot of antibiotics, food poisoning, believe it or not, genetics. People a lot of blocks in their external inflammatory genes that can cause you to be more susceptible to overgrowth in general. Food, meaning like, is there parasites in it, bacteria in the food, contaminated water? You just don't know anymore, So it's multiple things that can cause the overgrowth.
Yes. And what are some early red flags of hormone imbalances you see in your clients even before it's confirmed in like bloods or labs?
Yeah, so that's for us females, we need to look at our cycle. That can be the earliest clue. Irregular cycles, very short cycles, long cycles, heavy cycles, extreme cramping, passing a lot of clots, sore, tender, swollen boobs prior to your cycle. Those are already some red flags without even doing blood work to know that your hormones are not correct. Thinning hair, that's a big nerve for females, right? You know, could be hormones. I mean, that'd be more like thyroid, but like brittle nails, hair, you losing your hair, dry skin, you know. So that would be just a few of the signs that, without just not doing blood work.
Okay. And there are so many different things as well with the autoimmune. I mean, you mentioned the thyroid.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's SIBO,
Mm-hmm.
candida
Mm-hmm.
symptoms. They're everywhere right now.
Mm-hmm.
Why are there so many women struggling with these issues?
Stress, toxins, our environment is getting more toxic and toxic. Stress is a big one, because when your stress is out of control, your nerve system's out of control, so therefore it affects digestion. So it's important that you try to practice some things that calm your body, whether it be journaling, breathing, somatic therapy, walking is good for the mind. So a lot of people now these days are just go, 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 busy, busy, busy. I'm guilty of it too. Owning a business, that's a lot of responsibility, and stress along there. So I have to always keep myself in check and make sure my health is, I keep checking like my blood work, my gut health, to make sure it's in line, because I'm more prone to it.
Yes. And like you say, we do live in a fast-paced world, and stress is a killer. Let's face it.
It
You
is.
really have to be known how to.
Stress can impact blood sugars. I've seen it in people. I'd be like, what happened here? Why'd you spike so? Well, I had a stressful day. I'm like, well, now you know how stress can impact your body. Something to be more aware of. You're going to have to put more effort into parasympathetic exercises.
So what are some examples of health conditions you work with?
Oh, we work with so many things, from gut dysfunction, autoimmune diseases, weight loss resistance, POTS, PCOS, Barrett's esophagus, GERD. So, many different things, wide range.
So you are the creator of Total Body Vitality. Tell me more about your work and what that involves.
Yeah, so like I said, I've been in business over 5 years. Originally, it was called Total Body by Ashley, and then I just revamped it at the beginning of this year to Total Body Vitality. And the main reason was because I have 3 coaches that also work for me. So, I want to be more considered as a team, and obviously maybe look more professional in a way too, because of having a team. So, but I am obviously the CEO and the head coach here at Total Body Vitality. But all my coaches are great. We all went to the same schooling. We went to Metabolic Mentor University. So we all have our certified health practitioner certification. That's just a little bit about the background there.
That's good. Yes, absolutely. And it's great to have a team as well. And you're not going to help each other's coaching. And absolutely, it works. You've said mindset is just as important as lab and supplements. What kind of mindset shifts do your clients need to actually heal?
Yeah, they just need to have a more positive mindset. So many come in with such a negative mindset. I think it's just because just failure after failure, getting let down from doctors, or they've tried multiple things on their self and they had no success. So a big thing for them is, just working on a positive mindset, and speaking to themselves positively, because a lot of them will talk down on themselves. And that sometimes it's hard, because we are our worst critics. So we're there to kind of like, no, let's rephrase it in a more positive way. Look at these little wins that's been happening. That's why we're here, to point those out to them, because they got their blinders on, right? Because they're going to, be negative about every little thing and not see all these little wins that lead up to big wins. So that would be some of the things. Or we might give them little goals, to work on the mindset as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And it starts with the mind as well, like you said. Yeah, it is a whole body experience, mind, body, and soul. Absolutely. I can totally understand that. And if you can do everything you can, and if you're negative, you're not going to shift anything. Nothing's going to work.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And what goes on in our heads as well. So you have the 5 R's to rock your gut health guide. Tell me more about that.
So the first step is always to remove. So it's remove, it's rebalance, renoculate, repair, and rebalance. So there's this particular process that we have to follow when it comes to optimizing your gut health. And maybe the remove might be just like, because it's different for everyone, right? So maybe it's for removing, inflammatory foods, gluten, dairy, for just a little bit, just for a little bit, just to calm down the system, right? Because it's not too happy right now. And then we want to replace it with good anti-inflammatory foods. Maybe we're adding some supplements to support your body during that time, address the bacterial imbalances, the biofilms. And then, once we go through that portion of things, then we want to start to reinoculate and repair. So what we want to do there is start to add things in to heal the mucosal lining to prevent a relapse, like leaky gut. That's a term used. So you don't want leaky gut to happen, because that leads to overgrowth. And then once we work on that, we add in probiotics to repopulate the gut after we essentially went in and rebalanced everything out, killed out the bad bacteria, and then rebalance is just more so keeping those healthy habits long term, keeping up with the anti-inflammatory foods as much as you can, taking your probiotics, it's working on stress, it's all the lifestyle factors, like when it comes to the rebalance part, it's just continue with all those, the habits that you built moving forward.
That's brilliant, because you have actually given the listeners 3 of your guides, and they're free. So all the links will be in the show notes. Listeners, please do go ahead and find out your optimal health here. Because one of your other guides is GLP-1 info guide. What is that?
So GLPs are that big weight loss drug that everybody has been going on, like semaglutide, tirzepatide, Mounjaro. So it's just general information about side effects, how it can be helpful, what you can do to help support your body while being on a GLP. So it's just it's a general informational packet, so you can understand more the behind the GLPs and how it can support and not support your body in a way, because pros and cons to everything, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's great to have additional information on all topics. So yes, absolutely. And your third one is start healing your reflux from the root naturally. I mean, that some people really have problems with that, and it really can affect them. And they're taking popping all sorts of pills. So yeah.
Yeah.
So tell me more about that.
Yeah. So reflux is very common in many people, and I would say 90% individuals, it's low stomach acid. And, what can happen in some individuals that don't have enough stomach acid is essentially they're eating food, it's sitting in their gut, it's not breaking down, they're not absorbing the nutrients. Then the foam comes back up and irritates your esophagus, and that's what can happen. It can cause irritation, the redness, the mucus, people clearing the throat, and they think they have high acid due to that, and it's not the case. And then when you throw a PPI in, yeah, it'll help that foam part and the esophagus part, but it's going to lower your stomach acid overall in the actual gut. And also a lot of people have bacterial imbalances from having GERD, acid reflux, because again, you need stomach acid to keep bacteria balanced as well. So you don't have that, overgrowth is going to happen, and then that creates inflammation. It makes everything irritated more in there. It could cause stomach burning. So yeah, that's what the main cause of acid reflux can happen. Even H. pylori, that can cause acid swings, high and low. A lot of people that have acid reflux, pretty much a lot of them have H. pylori. And that's very, very common. It's a bacteria that burrows into the intestinal lining. It's something that can be treated herbally. I tell people, try to avoid antibiotics. So doctors always recommend antibiotics because they always do medicine with symptom. And when you do antibiotics, you have a more chance of having a relapse, meaning for it to come back full force. Ask me how? Because I done it. Because I didn't know when I was young. I didn't know about functional medicine. My parents didn't know. I did the whole antibiotic for my H. pylori. It came back with a vengeance later on in my life and led to SIBO. So that's why I talk about this stuff, because I experienced a lot of it myself. But everything can be treated naturally, just getting to the root issue, addressing gut health, the inflammation, supporting digestion. It can take a little bit of time. Yes, it's not going to happen overnight. Your symptoms didn't happen overnight, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like the fact you did mention antibiotics. I mean, they play their part in life, but the thing is, it is the damage they do to the guts as well.
Mhm.
And that's what you got to consider. But obviously, we're not saying don't take antibiotics. We're just saying just have a look at what's going on for you. Absolutely. So, Ashley, what is one of the most important lessons you've learned over your life so far?
I would have to say, doing hard things even when I'm scared or unsure, choosing growth over comfort. It's just always a lesson.
Yeah. So, if there was one key takeaway you want every listener to walk away with today, what would that be?
Be your own advocate and don't ignore your check engine signs that your body's giving you, and treat your gut. Like gut health is very important, so don't dismiss it.
Yes, absolutely. And that's not just for women, it's for men as well.
Yeah. Oh
Absolutely.
my gosh,
Because I think,
I'm seeing more men with issues more than anything now. A lot of men have actually, biggest common for them is acid reflux. I get a lot of men clients that have that.
yeah.
So,
And it could be, we think we're having just rich food at times. I know that plays a big part in my life because I'm gluten free. And if I have anything too rich, I'd like to think I have a clean diet
yeah.
and I look after myself. But at times, yeah, you got to think about if my body will know instantly if I've had something that is a bit too rich.
Mm-hmm.
So where can the listeners find you online and your links? What's your website, Ashley?
Yeah, so it's T as in Tom, B as in boy, vitality.com. That's my website. You can also find me on Instagram, Ashley J Shields Fit. And I am also on TikTok as well. And that is Ashley J Shields.
Thank you for sharing your insightful wisdom and knowledge with us today. And by doing so, you have helped so many others to make a difference. I'd really like to acknowledge you for that, Ashley Shields.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you having me here.
It's my pleasure. So we are all about Create the Courage to be Fearless podcast here. What is your definition of courage?
Doing things that make you scared to do. Don't let fear hold you back. So, because you don't know until you try.